If someone were to say the word Mazda Speed, basically most people in the car community would think Mazda Speed 3 before they think Speed 6. Why is the Speed 3 talked about so much more and recognised so much more than its more powerful all-wheel drive brother? Today, we're going to be talking why the Mazda Speed 6 is so much more underrated in the car community than the Speed 3. What's up guys, we're on the home stretch to 1,000 subscribers. And we're just gonna keep on going with these Mazda Speed videos. So if you guys like it, surely join us, get us to 1,000, and you guys are gonna be the ultimate OGs. On with the video. So now let's get into reason 1 of why the Speed 6 is a little bit less known about and talked about in the car community compared to the Speed 3. The rarity. If we look at the Speed 3, there's 2 different generations that are made for several to a dozen years, they're made for ages. The Speed 6 on the other hand, there's only 1 generation and they were not made for as long. There are obviously more Mazda Speed 3s. Also think about that the Mazda Speed 6 was more expensive than the Speed 3 when it came out, meaning people found it more realistic to just buy a Speed 3. More people bought Speed 3s than Speed 6, meaning nowadays there's more Speed 3s around. When there's more cars, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but more people own them.
Wow!
That means more people talk about them and it just gets spread a lot easier. However, you may be thinking some platforms like the Supra and the GTRs, they're much around, but everyone's talking about them. To do that, you have to have a legendary name. You have to be in Fast and Furious, you have to be fanboyed on by 12-year-olds, and the Mazda Speed is that underrated brand, so that's definitely not what happened. Next up, we've got to talk about rivalry. That's something like the Evos, the STIs are famous because, you know, it's Evo versus STI. The Supras and the GTRs, Supra versus GTR. And when cars get into this big hype of this car versus this car, and people are on 2 sides of the fences, they get talked about way more. People learn so much more about them and they want them so much more. That's the same even with Ford versus Chevy and stuff like that. The Speed 3 kind of had this, you know, Speed 3 versus Focus ST and kind of the GTR. Even today, people are still in the scenes arguing Speed 3 or ST. GTR is a little bit irrelevant, sorry. That's, you know, they're a lot cheaper cars, so it's fine. You know, and this means that the Ford guys are hearing about this Speed 3s from all their Ford friends with STs. However, the Speed 6 doesn't really have any main rivals. It's a lot better than a WRX, but it's not quite an STI. Its horsepower falls between them. The way it drives falls between them. And even if there was a version of the WRX or STI that was similar to the Speed 6, they wouldn't really compete because look at how big the Speed 6 is. They're not the same class of a car. So in the Speed 6, the only real similarly sized car that's performance orientated was that Mondeo ST220. Now I'm not sure about you, I do not see a lot of people online fighting about Speed 6s versus Mondeo ST220s. As you may be able to understand, the ST has 220 horsepower while the Speed 6 has like 275. The Speed 6 also looks way more modern, newer and all that. It's not so much of a rivalry. So that's the second reason why Mazda Speed 6s aren't looked as high upon as the Speed 3 is because they haven't got that rivalry. Next up is how they perform against their peers. Now this sort of kind of plays into the rivalry thing, sort of not, let me explain. So the Speed 3, when it was raced against, you know, Focus STs, GTIs and all that, people saw the Speed 3 and like, wow, you know, that car's got the biggest character, it wants to have fun, it's the fastest, it's got the most torque steer, it had a very defined character, and against its rival, people who did like that, liked the Speed 3. People who wanted a really raw, raunchous car, they're like, hell yeah, that Speed 3 is so cool. But with the Speed 6, like I said, it didn't really have any rivals it could directly compete against and be way better than. So, you know, if someone compared it to a WRX, like, oh yeah, the Speed 6, it's faster, it handles better, then people would just be reading that thinking, well, yeah, it should, it's a better car, it's more expensive. So it's not that exciting as when a Speed 3 is better than its similarly priced rival. But then when people compare the Speed 6 to like an STI, then the STI's faster and the STI's better handling, and that's not cool. People then don't get hyped and amped about all that. Now the next reason, which is sort of how people progress through cars. Typically, you'll start off with some sort of cheap car, it'll probably be, you know, a Honda or something. You know, you'll do some mods to that, make it how you like, and then you'll have some money and you'll go and you'll be like, okay, I want to buy a fast car, and you're going to buy your Speed 3. This is your first fast car. Oh my god, this thing is so insane. I can pop, bang, I can gap some fools. It's so exciting. The Speed 6 is a bit more expensive, so, you know, people that are getting into that first fast car phase aren't having that excitement and spreading the word around about how cool this Speed 6 is. Chances of a Speed 6 being your first fast car, yeah. Whereas the Speed 3 is probably quite like your first fast car. And then the difference between it and the Speed 3. Let's say you didn't buy a Speed 3 as your first fast car, you got a GTI or an ST. The Speed 6 has only got 20 more horsepower than this ST, so people are wanting to trade their Focus ST and will probably go for something even faster than that. So they'll skip over that Speed 6 stage. Which is why you often see the most amount of people who buy Speed 6s have owned a Mazda Speed in the past. They've had a Speed 3 but felt, you know, I need 4-wheel drive now, let's try out this Speed 6. As they see what they're capable of, then they get them. And since the Speed 6 isn't being advertised to as many people, not many people consider them when buying apart from Mazda Speed people. And that just stops a name from being spread around as much as it could. And that hype that you get from your first fast car isn't as much carried over to the second fast car or your Speed 6. Obviously that is just stereotypical, it's obviously not the only way it can happen, but yeah. If you did enjoy, thank you so much for watching, comment what you thought, and see you next time.